Developments in medicine have allowed people living with HIV to have the possibility of a full and healthy life. But despite this, stigma still remains. ViiV Healthcare is dedicated to HIV medicines and research and has launched the HIV in View campaign to dismantle outdated perceptions and portray the reality of living with HIV today.
Silvia Petretti has been living with HIV for the past 25 years. She lives in central London, works as a CEO and enjoys active hobbies every day.
I'm really into arts, into live music, into going out. I just have a very, very vibrant life. I feel really, really lucky.
But that's not always what people expect when they think of someone living with HIV. And that's why Silvia wanted to be part of the HIV in View gallery, a photo series following the daily lives of people around the world who are living with the virus.
There are definitely some cliches with visual imagery depicting people living with HIV. I really wanted to avoid showing Silvia ill or unhappy, because that's just not the case anymore. You can live a fantastic life with HIV and it really doesn't affect you. And Silvia's a great example of that.
I think a project that centers on pictures is really important, because as human beings we really relate to things that we see, to images that tell a story, to images that are about a person's real life. And I just wanted, to share my life with others, because I want people to see that a woman living with HIV is like anybody else. In a picture, somebody can look at it and just get it.
The gallery was commissioned by ViiV Healthcare, the only global healthcare company 100% dedicated to HIV medicines and research. Here at ViiV Healthcare, their mission is to leave no person living with HIV behind, and that involves switching the narrative around how living with the virus is perceived. HIV in View is one of the company's latest awareness initiatives, and it was determined to capture something new.
You've seen the pictures, they're vibrant, they're dynamic, you can see people living their full lives. And I think that will be quite different to what many people would perceive a person living with HIV would look like. And we love to challenge perception and we love to fight stigma.
It's been 40 years since the first reported cases of AIDS, but what has and hasn't changed in terms of how it and HIV are perceived?
Science has enabled us to move from the time of diagnosis to death being 18 months in the 1980s. Actually today, if you are diagnosed with HIV, you will live as long as someone not living with HIV. That is an incredible change. However, while stigma has been fought, that change has been much less significant than the one that science has brought about.
There are still a lot of people who don't really understand how HIV is transmitted. They think that they can catch it by touching someone or by drinking from the same cup. A person who has a viral load that's undetectable, so the aim of treatment is to make the virus not detectable in the blood anymore. And if that's the case, a person can't transmit HIV to their sexual partners. Women can have babies who don't have HIV. And so HIV for many people is less of a part of their lives than it used to be. And so it's really important that people understand in the general population that HIV is a medical condition like any other, and it should be regarded as a medical condition like any other.
For Silvia and the wider community living with HIV, that's exactly how they see it. And their photos are a way to help everyone else to see that too.
We are your neighbors, we are your auntie, we are your girlfriend, and we are your co-worker. HIV doesn't discriminate, it can happen to anyone. Only people do discriminate.